So, like I said, during these recordings, I'm going to look quite forward to the messages that Mike sends me. And the exact message that Mike sent me before this particular recording was that fucking cliffhanger.
We will get to that in a moment.
Before we start, like I said, I will show off Gurren shirts when I can. This is another good one. Pierce through the heavens with your drill. It's one of my favorites.
Nice.
I love it. All right. So, Mike, go ahead.
All right. So this is episode 20. How far will God test us? As Simon arrives in prison, he unexpectedly meets Viral, who comments on how far he has fallen. Meanwhile, the truth about Rocio's emergency plan and the consequences for those left behind on Earth are revealed. You want to begin with the Rocio hate?
Remember when I told you he was going to do a couple of more things that you were going to hate him for?
Yep, this is one of them.
Yeah, we could start with the Rocio hate since it's still going to linger for a little bit. Yeah, so we're just going to not tell the people in the shelters that they're not going to make it. Roughly 640,000 people.
I understand that he wants to preserve all life, but the animals kind of feel like token lives in the grand scheme of things.
They do, and I get it. It's them driving home this is the arc.
Yeah, like that, that. As far as like the allegory goes, was a little bit on the nose.
Yeah, and the fact that it leads to I cannot get over just how much I have to like. Every time I see it, it is just Keaton is the best.
Keaton is he is the Kamina of. Well, no, he's the Simone of the new season.
Yes, because they do that to lead into him basically railing Rocio this entire episode. And it starts with the revelation with the Rocio hate that Liron found out that when the moon hits, it's going to make Earth uninhabitable for a year. So that's why all the people are just going to be Deadsville. And they're like, Art Gurren can't hold this many people. And that was the only time where Keaton just kind of goes, I still want to beat your brains in. But I can't completely say wrong. This is the one point where I was like, I fucking hate Rocio, but god damn it, I can't say he's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You finally get to see Rocio sweat, though.
Yep. He's not evil. I just hate him.
Yes, exactly. I don't hate you. I'm just disappointed, as the parents would say. But yeah, so they get Art Gurren fired up because Attenborough again just can't help himself. And they have since plugged Genome's head into the engine room of Art Gurren. Why?
Because reasons.
Because reasons. And it's like, obviously, it makes sense logically because, like they said, he needs to be there for it to start. Like Simo needs to be in Gurren for everything to function properly. But yeah, Rocio is still this season not gaining a single point in the what do I want to say? Good person column. Because like finally even Keenon was like, really?
when you lose Keenon on your side, that's when you have to start questioning your actions.
Because she was the definition of like nearing Stockholm syndrome levels of, no, he's correct. I'm doing this because I want to support him.
My question still stands. Like, are they a thing? Because in this episode, they don't seem to be a thing. But in the last episode, it was more apparent.
I have to remember if I'm misremembering this. If I'm remembering the exact moment, I'm pretty sure we're going to see the episode in the batch that we do tonight. I'm pretty sure it's made aware where they stand. I could be misremembering it, but I know that it is at least talked about. So we'll have to see. And I cannot spoil how it gets brought up because it's episode 26 levels great of how cool this moment is. So I can't say it yet.
Then don't say it. But
we should see it tonight. So yeah. But you got to see a really cool flashback when they were loading it up. You got to see the Warble runners that they used to ride and stuff like that. So I thought that was kind of cool. And yeah, so we're on a base level where everyone but the people on Earth know what's going on. Dayaka's resigned because he just cares about his kid and could not give two shits less what Rossiu thinks.
I like that about him. I like how he's become the family man.
Yep.
But I guess he still kind of cares about he does care about people, but his immediate focus is his family.
Yeah, because like you got to see, and it's one of the conversations that always really gets to me is when Keaton is the only person that pushes the Kamina button in a way that isn't bad. He's like, maybe Kamina picked a good time to die. And
I understand that more from like a he was a good dude, and like this is not a good situation.
Yeah, it's just like he's the one person that's not dealing with this right now. Because outside of the random people that decided to suicide bomb the spiral energy tornado, they really didn't lose anybody else in season 1. But yeah, and well, it is just we get basically Rossiu being a dick for a good portion of it, and the little bit of levity that we got to at least start is the fight between Viral and Simone and the Beastman version of Foghorn Leghorn.
Pretty much.
And they get blamed for the fight for the reason just to put them in solitary together away from everybody else.
This
is Rossiu getting food poisoning levels of we had to come up with something.
Yeah.
But there's not really much to talk about there. Viral mentions again, he's like, oh, you're just going to sit around and do nothing. Good. You're literally just a Spiral King now. So it's kind of just like
we get it. He has a lot of anger and resentment towards everyone.
But again, literally almost everyone in season 2 presses the Kamina button once.
Yeah.
And Viral did it as well. And he was the one person that almost tried to make Simone feel better by pressing the Kamina button in his own messed up chivalrous way. Where he's like, Kamina could fight me hand to hand. What the hell is wrong with you? I'm like, did you just pay respect to Kamina in your own dickish way? It's like
this is why I love Viral so much. Like, he's a bastard, but he's a bastard with a code.
He is, and it's hard to keep that consistent sometimes because when shows go on for so long, eventually you have to have the moment where, oh no, he broke his code. Like, we don't need to get into Arrow. But oh boy, did that happen a lot. But this show only being 27 episodes, they can hold him tight to it, and they can do a lot with him holding tight to it. And one thing that I know you're happy about well, because I believe it was the last episode, if not the first. No, was it the first episode of this season? We get the Mugan attacking again because they found out about the spiral energy spike, which makes a lot of sense. They want absolute despair. They don't want anything helping them. And then again, I'm going to say this so many times until I'm blue in the face. Keaton helps load all those people up there, loads his sister, loads Dayaka, everybody, and goes, leave. And he goes to fight a Mugan with a fucking shotgun.
I love it so much.
Oh, it's just like, he cares about protecting his niece, and that's it. I was just like, dude. Again, I mentioned it, I want to say in the last episode. Kamina never got to see Rasu being a dickhead. Kamina never got to meet Nia. And Kamina never gets to meet non-douchebaggy Keaton. Like, it's just I'm perfectly fine. I'm not one of those people that was like, Kamina should have been alive for the whole show. I was just like, the mouth-watering possibilities of seeing the interactions between the more matured versions of these people with Kamina is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but
I won't phrase it the same way as Rasu did, but he does, like, plot-wise, he's not wrong when he says, like, things got better after Kamina made his sacrifice.
Yeah, it kind of, in a way, spurred unknown versions of each of the characters that they didn't know they quite had, but they had to kind of turn into now that he was gone. Like, they couldn't just go, Kamina's going to go do everything. They had to be like, we kind of got to pull our own shit here.
I almost kind of feel like this is a response to like the later arcs of Dragon Ball Z, where it's like they try to give character development to everyone else until Goku just steps in and like asserts himself as the hero.
Yeah. It works a little bit better when you kill off Goku in episode 8. You don't have those moments where it's like, guess what, buddy? You're not the important person anymore. I still am. But what I was getting at is you were very bummed that the gunman got scrapped. And again, I had to bite my freaking tongue because I'm just like, 2 more episodes, just wait. Because Lete and Makin, being the good old mechanics they are like, fuck you, we're scrapping the gunman.
Now I have a question. Do you remember when we were first introduced to them?
Lete, I want to say you get to see her. You get to see her for just a little bit in the tail end of the first season. I want to say after they have like the Levisphere, like around that area, when they start doing a lot more enhancements to the Gurren. I don't know if you ever see Makin or if he gets a name. I know that Liron at least talks with Lete about setting up engine stuff.
Okay. So
that's what I was like when I was mentioning, like, there's full-time characters in the show that we just don't meet until later, but have been there the whole time. Like, if I'm not mistaken, Lete was actually, like, in the show, just, like, in shots in the background with a cigarette in her mouth, just in the engine room, and she just never said anything. And, yeah, but...
I only asked because I'm liking how the second season treats them more like major supporting characters.
Oh yeah. They've got the big spotlight when Simone went to go visit them looking for Nia. And in a little bit, you got to see, like, it felt like they've known Simone since he was born, when, like I said, when he flies away, and they're like, dude, we're worried about you and not anybody else. It's just like, that's like talking about a kid that they grew up with, because they did. Like I said, they've known him since he was 14. But it's just, you're getting, the action's going to start rolling in real fast. So this is going to be a lot of us just talking about fight scenes coming up real soon. But you get a lot of just badass moments. That's pretty much what this whole episode was.
I think the most badass moment of this episode was those two characters whose names I just forgot.
Makin and Lete?
Yeah. Maki and Lete coming in like, you're forgetting something? takes off the tarp. It's all of their gunmen.
All their gunmen. And instantly they're just like, these Mugan are turning into Swiss cheese when we shoot at them. I wonder why. And then Genome's just like, are you stupid? Did you not pay attention to when I said I built these things to fight them in the first place? You put my head in a computer. I told you what they did. And you're like, no, get rid of them. Like, and it's not like they were told that off camera. They told it to him in episode 2 of this season.
Again, more Rossy hate.
Like, how dumb are you? But yeah, it the badass moment of that, them firing away for just a little bit while Gimme and Dari are covering, and all of a sudden they get the energy shield up in the Gurren, and then all of a sudden Keaton's not fighting anybody anymore, and you're like, that's weird. Why did we buzz away from Keaton so fast when he finally got his gunman? Because it leads into, again, say it till I'm fucking blue in the face, Keaton is the MVP of this fucking season.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'll say that this is actually the most badass moment when Keaton comes in like, fork it over. I know you have it. We need it. Fork it over.
Yep. And he says it in the most just condescending prick way possible. Yeah, we weren't much for you government types. We kind of like to do things our own way. And that don't belong to you. If you're not going to use it, come on. Come on. And they're very specific to use the royal he when they talk about that's his soul. They do not say who they're talking about.
But we know.
But we know. And it's like, it's going to stay with us. You leave and go be a pussy. We're going to sit here and fight. And whatever. And also the fact that finally, this is the one moment where it was with Kyo, the oldest sister. I get that she was pregnant and laid up in the hospital. I understand. But in the show, I was finally like, Kyo's not going to say anything to Kino. And for the love of God, the oldest sister needs to be like, you are being stupid. She does not say that, but she gets on the ship and Kino's about to say something. She goes, sit down.
I love that.
Yeah, and then immediately Keaton leaves and tells the grapnels to get the hell out of the way, that we're gonna get take care of things. Oh man, it's just good. It's
So would you say this is the end of the blah arc, or do we have more to go?
Hold on. I need to look at something. Cool. Why'd you do that? Don't do that. Okay. Technically, we have 2 episodes left.
Okay.
It'll end. We will see the end of it tonight.
Okay.
I believe it's 2 episodes, but that will lead into the game show that I'm going to tell you about later. But that badass moment with Keaton leads to one of the best character moments with Simone. how he is more mature than anybody on that entire show at this point.
Like he's not upset that he's in prison.
No.
He's not upset until Nia shows up.
Exactly. He's just kind of like, if they make it, I'm happy. Like, he just wanted to be the dude that helped. That's all he ever was. You get that freaking line from Viral, and to think, this is the way I get to witness your demise, sitting with you in a damn jail cell. And I will let you take care of the cliffhanger because you were quite happy about it.
So, how does this episode end? Well, you remember how we haven't seen Yoko in a while? Well, guess who's busting these two motherfuckers out?
Yoko is. I leave, and you become a real boring bitch. It just cuts. It just cuts. It's the perfect cliffhanger.
I love it. I love that cliffhanger so much.
Oh, man. And now the veiled uncomfortableness is over because we have a Yoko on the show who's 21.
Oh, thank God.
There's always the moments where it's kind of like, man, this is really weird. Of like, hey, I can feel a little less uncomfortable. It's 7 years past and she's an adult. But we kind of got over and got into everything. So before we get to my little game show that I'm very excited about, would you change anything in this episode?
No.
Okay.
Because, I mean, subjectively, I would have changed like 2 episodes ago or last episode that Rossio even goes to prison.
Yep. Oh yeah. I get you. It's just that we're pissed off at him and we want it's the exact same thing that was going on during the Simo get your shit together arc. We don't like seeing these people not at their best.
Like,
and it sucks.
Yeah, we like it's uncomfortable to watch, but it's necessary for the story.
It is. Okay. Now we are going to play a little thing called What Does Mike Think Yoko was Doing for the Past 7 Years?
Ooh. That's a good question.
Because I'm going to have you guess, and then we're going to watch the next episode, and we're going to see how close you were.
Oh, there's so many possibilities.
I will be incredibly proud of you if you could come up with it.
I can only guess what she wasn't. And obviously she wasn't a government official.
Exactly, yep.
She had to have been like either a freedom fighter or like training the next generation.
If you make enough, and I mean you bend over backwards till you're a pretzel, we can almost say that you were correct on one of those two. I won't say which, but like I said, there's some extreme stretching and conditions to put to that, but you're not completely wrong. You didn't get it, and that's not your fault, because I still am convinced that they're like, okay, we have a really cool moment lined up with Yoko. She's going to come back and bust Viral and Simon out of jail. What are we going to do? I don't know. All right. Everyone, including the animators, writers, and the janitor, write a bunch of ideas on that wall, and I'm going to throw a dart. Whichever one it lands on, that's what Yoko was doing. And then that dart hit, and all of them went, okay, yeah, well, the dart hit it, so we got to do that. We'll make an episode out of it. Okay. But
I am fascinated to know, like to find out the answer.
yeah, it's a really cool episode. It really is, because it shows Yoko's at heart, what I want to say, what she truly wants. And again, it leads to these string of awesome moments within like 5 minutes at the end of episode 26. Because you get to, like, a lot of what season 2 is, and it's going to start hitting real hard, especially with this one, is what all of these people, now that they're done being freedom fighters, they had a little bit to discover what they actually wanted to do with their lives. And it wasn't to always be freedom fighters. So you get to start seeing a chunk of what they would like to be. And Yoko gets an entire episode of it.
But she still has her gun.
Oh, she still does. Oh, yeah. That world was going to end before Yoko was giving up that rifle. Not a chance. But, all right. So, I had a feeling we weren't going to talk about much in this episode, because they pretty much get their gunman back, and then Ratsu is still a douchebag, and Art Gurren is going to leave. But, again, Nia's like, yeah, you're still screwed, though. And this was the point when I was watching the show. I won't say what the intentions are, but it's like, of all the people that you're bugging about this, Nia is bugging Simone. In this situation, without Yoko getting there, Simone can't save them, even if he was in a good mood. So Nia is going, anti-spiral Nia is going out of her way to let Simone know that they're screwed.
I have two questions about this.
Okay.
One is it just the anti-spiral assuming that because Simone is and or was the leader, that like he is their point of contact? Or my second question is this literally just the writers going, Simone's the main character, so he's going to be receiving the messages?
I think it's partially a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B, but there's a secret column C that I always think this was, and we'll see more evidence towards column C. Oh boy, am I on a roll today. We'll see a lot more leaning towards my column C as the episodes go on. But yeah, we're not going to waste too much time with this, because we're going to try and pack in 4 episodes here to be close to, 3 episodes left after this? 3 or 4?
Wait, we're doing 21 or 20, 21, 22, and 23.
So there'd be 4 episodes left after that.
Yep.
So we'd have possibly 1 or 2 recording sessions, depending on how the one other podcast that we're going to do is. Possibly end it on one other recording session. Probably won't. It's probably going to be 2, but either way. We're getting there. So until then, we're going to get into the next episode. This next episode is going to be a weird one to talk about. It's probably going to be the most off-brand version of this show yet.
Probably.
Because it's really weird. But, Mike, where can everybody reach you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at CaptainK42. Check out my quick thought reviews on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. Find me in all the various Facebook groups at my name. Check out Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Twitter at Ren Pop Culture. Check out all our podcasts at Anchor, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. Finally, check out renegadepopculture.com. Need an escape? So do we.
Sorry about that. I was setting myself a reminder to do an edit in this episode. What was it? You can see me at Organoid0 on Twitch mostly, this YouTube channel. Stuff involving Renegade pop culture. Obviously, I've been on a couple of podcasts and we'll be possibly working on another one. We still have to see how that goes. And I guess if you want to, if you're a fan of RWBY and you're watching this, I'm a part of a RWBY page. It's RWBY Remnant's Finest. If you want to check it out, if you're a fan, look it up on Facebook. All right. We will see you guys next time. For us, it'll be a couple of minutes. I love you. Spin on, and we'll see you next time.